Okay. What do we need? What paint do we need, guys? Let's see. Let's try this. Game color Naranja Tostado. Hot orange. Oh. Oh yeah, because it's Spanish. I forgot that these paints are Spanish. Are from Spain. And I need brown. Okay, let's use this. Here, let's learn Spanish. Marron Carbones. Carbones? Charred brown. There you go. I know I'm fluent. I know I'm fluent. I know it's awful. Oh, maybe I should get some purple. I always like to throw in a bit of purple for shadows and shades. Okay, let's use this one. And I didn't shake my paint, so I gotta shake them by hand. Just give me a second, everyone. Second or 2 seconds or several. A minute. Shaking the paint. This is what we're painting. This is a mimic from Dungeons and Dragons. And I sprayed it black. It comes pre-primed white, or like a grayish white. But I decided to spray it black because I thought I might be able to paint it faster that way. And I was going to paint this all in a single stream. I don't know. Maybe we'll save that for another model. I kind of want to make a challenge or something, like paint a whole model in a single session. Let's speedrun a model paint, a model. But for this one, let's just take it a little easier and just see how far we can get. Shake the paint. Here's. It looks like I didn't shake this one enough. Nah. Let's shake them up a little more. And I realized just now that my wet palette is probably overflowing with water, so let's just pour out some excess water. I've been going through some of my notes. I have like a couple of notebooks where I have, you know, just little ideas about my stream, things I can do for my stream or YouTube. And I kind of filled up one notebook filled with ideas, and I kind of just tossed that old notebook aside, but I realized I should probably look at it one more time and try and see if there's any other ideas that I may have forgotten about that I'd like to do or whatever. So that's another thing I need to do, is just go through my notes and see if there's any good ideas that I can pillage. I can rip my own self off. Find some decent ideas. Okay. Just getting some brushes ready. Is this ready now? I don't know. Oh, it's pouring out. This is a very bright red. It almost looks... Oh, it is orange. I thought it was red. It's orange. And let's get some purple. Okay. So this is going to be kind of like the base coat for the model. This kind of brown and reddish look, which will probably end up looking kind of like mud. I think yeah, the purple that I had was a bit on the gray side, so it kind of ended up looking really muddy. So let's actually go back and get like a stronger blue. Let's find a blue that we can use. Here we are. No, that's too... Let us look for some blue paint. One moment. Also yesterday, since I didn't stream yesterday, I ended up kind of cleaning up my workspace. It's so messy. It's so unbelievably messy here. Especially every time I paint, every session where I paint or build, which is practically all I do on this stream anyways. So yeah, it's in a perpetual state of messiness, which is okay sometimes, but you kind of don't want to live like your entire life like that. I guess. So yeah, yesterday I kind of cleaned up a bit, cleaned up around here. I also just realized that I need some more I need some more paper towel. I'll get that. I'll get some later. Okay, let's add more of this blue and see how we like it. Okay. Let's go with this. And again, this is just like kind of like the undercoat that we're just going to apply to the entire model. And this model here was probably I kept it in a container, so it's probably not that dusty, but let's just take our Hake brush, our watercolor brush, and kind of make sure there's no, there you go, no dust on it. And let's just slap some paint on it. Let's just go nuts. Let's not really pay too much attention to being tidy and neat. Let's just get messy. This is actually the fun part for me. I like just doing this. Just slapping it on without much care or attention. Let's get the base too. And we're just trying to push around the paint as well, because I don't want it to clump up. Kind of want to do this in several light layers. So, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons myself, like in terms of like the actual pen and paper game, but I'm still familiar with the world because of miniatures, because of like video games. I've played a number of D&D video games, blah blah blah, and the Mimic is my favorite. Actually, it's my second favorite monster. My number one favorite monster from D&D is this guy. Showed him before. It's the Beholder. Woo! But my second favorite, it's got to be the Mimic. And actually, that comes my most memorable Mimic experiences are not from D&D, but rather from the Dark Souls games. In Dark Souls, you can just run into treasure chests and you think it's totally fine, everything's nice and normal. You attempt to open it, and then this gigantic creepy monster emerges. Like it is the treasure chest, like a, you know, the top of the chest is like its mouth and its jaw, and teeth come out from the inside, and little legs sprout out from underneath, and arms and shit. It's one of the most scariest moments in video games for me, at least in recent memory. That freaked me out. I have no shame in saying that. That scared the hell out of me. And it's always in the same place, so I'm not too scared of them now, but anytime a new Souls game comes out, I'm like, uh-oh. Could this be a Mimic? Could be. So we got to get the interior of the mouth as well. It kind of when I was spraying it, the paint didn't get all into the interior, into the inside of the mouth. So let's just get some black paint, and we'll mix it with some brown. Doesn't have to be pure black. Some red would be ideal, actually. That's probably going to be the color I end up painting the interior of the mouth. Well, let's just kind of get the inside of the mouth. Let's just smash this brush inside. And in fact, this brownish color is probably what we're going to use for the wood, right? This is a barrel Mimic. Carmi! What's up, Carmi? How are you? How's it going? Yeah, so this is a Mimic that's taken the form of a barrel, so brown makes sense. So we might as well just start with the brown. And let's just cover the whole thing in brown again. Carmi, it's going. I already want the work done. Ooh, you got your 3D printer up and running. Nice. So I guess there wasn't any kind of like incident or mishap with the 3D printer. It's all like everything's nice and functional. That's sweet. That's good. Man, 3D printers are so cool. So cool. I want one. Workday done. Right. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Will you be streaming anytime soon, Carmi? What's your schedule like? Schedule. It's all intact. It's cool once you know how it all works. Yeah, takes a little adjustment period and everything. Like, man, they're would you say that they're a pretty affordable price at this point? Like 3D printers, they seem like they're kind of priced at a decent level these days. It's really an issue of like space and safety and noise for me right now. My schedule? I got none. You know, I've often thought that I need to make like a streaming schedule, but things are so unpredictable. I can't really predict what's going to happen from day to day, so that's why I don't want to do one. Just because, yeah, who knows what's gonna pop up? I don't know. And then people will be like, hey, you're supposed to stream today. Okay. Okay. This is looking brown. There, we're done. It's a brown barrel. It's a barrel mimic. We're done. No. We'll still do more. The Elegoo Mars is what I have. The one I have was around 200. Yeah. So that sounds just about the same price that I had noticed at the computer store that I was at the last week or so. And I thought to myself, damn, that's actually not bad. Of course, you're going to have to buy resin and stuff like that. But, yeah. That didn't seem too bad, actually. Eshwin, what it do? How's it going, Eshwin? How are you today? Today we are painting one miniature, and we're gonna see how much we can do in a single day. Maybe. But we also have to let the paint dry on this. If I was looking to do this super fast, then we can kind of work on some parts where the paint is already going to dry. We're watching paint dry. Yup. Having fun yet? Carmi had a schedule once, and Elle went to hell because things keep popping up. So I pretty much just say whenever I feel like it. Yeah. I know some people have like a weekly schedule that they just post on Twitter or something like that. Like, okay guys, this is the schedule for today. That seems a little more reasonable, but even then I'm like, I don't know. So earlier today, I was adding some icicles to this. I don't know if you saw this, Carmi, but yeah, this guy is pretty much done now. This is the base with all the ice and the snow and all of that. And just at the start today of this stream, I was adding these icicles, which they're not done yet. I gotta add like some gloss to them and some snow and crap, some other stuff. But yeah, there we go. Oh, and don't mind this. This is like a part that I need to fix. I have to fix this up because it looked a little wonky. So yeah, I gotta basically do a little bit of rebasing and stuff. Yep. Yeah, this is resin. That was my first time really trying this out for a model, and not just leaving it as water resin, but trying to make it look like ice on top of that. And yeah, generally, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So yeah, we're gonna play around more with resin for other future projects, I think. Thank you. Thanks, Carmi. Appreciate it. Also, I was looking at this, and I think I need to add more snow, right? I kind of was putting snow very carefully for like an hour. And then I looked at it later, and I was like, you know what? It needs just a lot more snow. We need to just... Now, now I don't like you again. No! No! That's totally the opposite of the plan. The plan was to be good and have people like me. No. But yeah, I think I'll slap on more snow. We'll see. But back to this guy. Back to this, the humble barrel mimic. More snow. Yeah, I think we need more snow. That's what I've determined with my Canadianness. I was like, shit needs more snow. I was just very careful because I didn't want to overdo it, and then it looks all weird and crappy. But yeah. There's like several different products out there that's is intended to be snow. And there's a lot of mixed opinions of people who, you know, what's the best snow effect paint. So I just went with this one, but, you know, maybe I'll try another one at some point. Maybe there's something else out there that we could use. Is it dry yet, the snow? Or the paint? For this model here. This model here, it's dry, for sure. Acrylic paint doesn't take too long. Okay, let's paint the mouth here. Let's paint the tongue. Let's get the tongue. So one thing about these models is that they're pretty decent, and this is the same manufacturer as the Frost Giant, actually. The detail is good, but I feel like it's not as crisp as like a Warhammer model or other manufacturers out there. It's a little mushy, I guess, is a way of saying it, which, you know, it's not ideal. And so I've already added several more layers of paint to this model. They come pre-primed, and then I put black primer paint on top, and then I put, like, you know, more layers of paint on top since then. Yeah, I don't think that's the best way to go about it, just because you're just adding more and more thickness to the sculpt, where the sculpt is already kind of soft on detail already. But that's okay. This is just for fun anyways. Just for funsies. Okay. I think I got to use a smaller brush to get the gums of this dude. The paint, yeah, the paint on this guy, it's dry. Ba ba ba. Carmi, oh my gosh, you've been showing some of the models that you bought lately, and like every single one has been like a banger. I'm like, damn, you got some nice models lined up. That's very, very exciting to see. What are you planning on working on next? You've got so many nice ones to choose from. You've got the Arcanadia Lumetia, is that her name? That's a cool one. You know, that model I was kind of so on when I first saw it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's like an angel. I was like, I don't know if I really would want an Angel model, but I think it looks good. And then I started to see pictures of people doing custom stuff to the model, like turning her into like a devil kind of thing or whatever, changing the colors to like her feathers from black or from white to black. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks really, really sweet. That looks so sweet. I think it's a little hard to find now these days. I might do the horsey next. Oh, yeah. The horse model. That one looked pretty cool. Ashwin, have any thoughts on the latest gimmicks out of SDCC? By gimmicks, do you mean the Marvel stuff? What kind of gimmick are you talking about? Unless I missed something. But with the Marvel stuff, I thought it was great. I thought a lot of it looked very, very fun, very cool. The Black Panther stuff looked really exciting. Yeah. You just mean the trailers. Okay. I don't know why you called it a gimmick, but anyways. Yeah, it looked good. I liked pretty much everything that I saw. Let's see. Let's see. Black Panther looks good. They did not show the Guardians trailer, but judging from the reaction online, everyone was saying that it was a very emotional trailer, which I'm like, I don't know, whatever. I don't know. I don't trust these people, so we'll see. And they're making it out to sound like this is like the final adventure of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is, that's also probably not true, to be honest. It's the final adventure of the Guardians as we know it presently, but certainly we'll see the Guardians in some form, in some fashion, so long as these movies make money, right? Let's see, what else? Yeah, they didn't show Ant-Man, so that's kind of like, I kind of wanted to see Ant-Man. We know that Namor is coming. Man, there's just a lot of stuff. I was actually talking about this with Notslide in my last stream, but yeah, like Namor and the Fantastic Four. Let's see. Ashwin, I used to ride horses. Oh yeah, you did. Thought She-Hulk looked promising. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of people out there who are kind of poo-pooing the CG for She-Hulk, and I'm kind of like, what do you want? She's a gigantic green woman. Like, I don't think she was ever going to look very realistic, right? In my mind, she reminds me of the covers for She-Hulk, right? Like, whenever you see those covers for She-Hulk, she has like amazing, beautiful hair, and she's always like so confident looking and everything. That's what from what I had seen, I was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of She-Hulk. This could be a thing. This could be good. I'm hoping it's good. And yeah, they showed Daredevil at the end, which I'm sure you're very excited about, Ashwin. I mean, hopefully it's good. They've already confirmed that that Kingpin will be a part of it, or rather Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't know about the rest of the Daredevil cast. I really do hope that the rest of the Daredevil cast from the Netflix show end up in the new Disney show as well. I mean, they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of important to the whole situation too, Foggy and the rest. So hopefully. And Fantastic Four, we've got confirmation that Fantastic Four is happening. Excited about that. I'm kind of like a low-key Fantastic Four fan. it's a comic that I actually have a fair amount of issues of, but um, they're not like I'm not like a huge fan of them. I just kind of like the stories because they're just like adventures, almost like in a Star Trek kind of way. Um, I've always kind of liked that about the Fantastic Four. So the fact that we're getting a movie is pretty exciting. Although I feel pretty confident in saying that we are not going to be getting Jim from The Office playing Reed Richards. That was like a one-time deal, more of like a fan casting thing. And when it comes to the actual Fantastic Four movie, they're going to recast. That's my guess. It was just like a goofy fan casting thing, not to be taken seriously. It's a weird move in some regards, just because I guess people like Jim. I don't know. I'm some kind of indifferent about that actor. But you run the risk of having fans write off Mr. Fantastic. This is your first attempt at having him in a movie, and you basically make him look like a fool, a joke, right? And historically, Mr. Fantastic has always been kind of like a rather, what's the word I'm looking for? Unimpressive hero, kind of like a lame, especially when it comes to movies. Like, he just hasn't been a very convincing character, right? We haven't really seen stretchy powers done in a cool, exciting way yet. At least not within a Marvel movie. What's her name? Elastigirl from The Incredibles. That's like a really cool depiction of stretchy powers. She's been really, they've done a really good job of showing her stretchy powers for that character. What else? Oh, that stretchy guy in Chippendale Rescue Rangers was like surprisingly kind of intimidating. Even though he's like a Play-Doh Gumby looking dude. Okay, let's see, we're still painting the mouth. I'm thinking for the metal here, so these are like copper bands around his arms, right? And they've like come to life, right? I'm thinking I might attempt to paint them in non-metallic metal. I'll attempt to paint them like gold rather than use gold paint, because I want to practice that anyways. These are little tentacles I'm realizing that should be painted. Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons mimics, they have these tentacles. It's kind of weird. I'm thinking about converting one of my mimic models to look like a more like a Dark Souls mimic. I think that might be kind of fun. But I have to source the parts. I have to get the right parts. So I don't feel like sculpting it. I have painted some brownish red on the underside. For some reason that makes sense to me. Like, I felt like the barrel mimic would have like this kind of reddish hue from the underside, and then we can go into like a paler brown for the top. For some reason I thought that might make sense. Artistic license. Oh, we've been streaming for just about an hour and 20 minutes right now. I actually hadn't realized that. So let's keep going, and then I'll try and remember to take a break soon. Try is the key word. One thing that I don't really know too much about in terms of the Marvel universe is like the trajectory that they're on for the big moment, like the big Avengers movie. I'm not too familiar with the Secret Wars, or rather the Secret Wars that they're going to be basing it off of, because I do recall the old Secret Wars with the Beyonder, is that his name? But they're not basing this event off of that one. They're basing it off of a more recent story event. So yeah. So that'll actually be kind of fun for me, just because I'm not too familiar with it, so it'll be new to me. And anyways, they tend to change things up anyways. Here's some coffee today, guys. Today's beverage. Oh my god. That gigantic spider is in front of my window again. Holy crap, I just saw it. I took a picture and I put it up on my Instagram. There's a huge ass spider in front of my window. Oh, he just left. So freaky. Anyways. But one thing I'm excited about for the new Marvel movies that are coming out is what is it? Oh, Doom. Which is funny because they've tried Doom, what, 2 times now? We've had 2 different depictions of Doom in the movies, and they've been bad. They've pretty much been bad both times. So, I mean, what hope do we have that it'll be good this time? I don't know. I'm hoping that it'll be good, because I was saying earlier that I'm not too familiar with the Secret Wars event that we're building up towards now. But I do kind of know some things, and I think Doom is a big player in it. So it would be really cool if we get a really good Doom out of all this. Yeah, that's the biggest question mark to me, is making a good Fantastic Four movie. Can they make a good FF? Can they make a good Doom? Just because, yeah, FF has been a problem for a good long while. Like, we haven't really seen a good FF. So is this it? Or is this the time? We shall see. Okay. I think we need to kind of push the tongue more. It needs a lot like sharper highlights in terms of the pink, the tongue, to make it look all wet and goopy. We need to really just get in there with more aggressively. So let's do that. And then on the DC side, my understanding is that DC tries not the right word. They basically had a very low-key event, just because they're kind of at a point where I don't know how to say it, but they're I don't know, would you say that they're in trouble? I don't know if they're in trouble necessarily, but it's kind of like one movie has Amber Heard, who's like a huge problem, and then the other movie has what's his name, Ezra Miller, also a gigantic problem. So they just showed Shazam and Black Adam. That's all they showed, and I actually really liked the first Shazam movie. It was kind of, it wasn't trying to be over the top. It wasn't trying to be this big, huge, amazing movie, really. I think it was trying to tell kind of like a smaller story about Billy, and I think they actually did a really good job. But now we're kind of getting into the territory of just telling like a straight up superhero story now. And can they do that? I don't know. Can they tell an interesting straight up superhero story? I don't know. All right, let's leave the tongue alone. They're at a crossroads, Ashwin. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because they're kind of like Flashpoint is going to reboot a lot of stuff, I guess, or soft reboot a lot of things. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, what do we want? What do we want for this skin? The wood. This is actually called rat skin flesh. Does it look... I mean, I kind of wanted a brownish, a light brown look for the wood. Like a tanned kind of beechwood look. So, would I use that? Ooh, here we go. Here's a big one from Eshwin. If they're smart, they'll reduce whatever role Mara had, or recast and reshoot, and turn the Flash movie into a Flashpoint movie. It is a Flashpoint movie, isn't it? Use the Flash to set off the whole multiverse, and have Batman besides Bale. Yeah, I feel like they are kind of like using like Flashpoint as like this thing to sort of readjust, refocus the world, the universe. Okay, let's paint the wood now. Just realized I got to get the underside of the jaw here, or the gums. Let's get that. Okay. It's very, very odd the point that they're at now with DC. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Because they're keeping some things. They're keeping some aspects of the old universe, you know, like the Snyderverse. I feel like even after Flashpoint, some things are going to remain the same. And then some things are going to change. Well, I guess that's how it is whenever DC really do their reboot thing. It's actually kind of interesting that we're getting to that point in the movies now, because that's such a DC comic thing, right? That's such a mainstay of the DC universe, are these periodic reboots or soft reboots, and now we're actually getting it in the movies as well. So this here is rat skin flesh. It's a skin tone, but it's kind of orangey brown, and I think that might be good for this mimic. And I'm gonna mix it with some of this stuff here. This Baylor brown. It's more of a khaki brown, I guess. I don't know. Just because, you know, this is a living creature, so I kind of wanted to have some element of like a flesh tone, of a pinky reddish color, maybe like something in between the slats of wood. I don't know. Let's use our thin brush. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Christian Bale, he recently said that he'd actually come back to Batman if Nolan was back, which I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, it's probably highly unlikely, but you never know. Maybe after a string of bombs, I'll be like, ah, shit, let's just go back to Batman. I'm not too worried about going over some parts. I'll just sort of repaint it. That's one nice tip I can give about painting miniatures is like you kind of want to start with the lowest part of the model. Like if you imagine layers, if you're dressing in layers, you want to start with like the lowest layer first and then build your way up to the highest layers. And that way, if you happen to overpaint a part, that's okay, because that overpainted part is just the next layer above, and you're just going to be painting over that anyways. It's kind of why I painted the mouth first, right? The gums. This thing does have eyes, so I gotta paint the eyes too. And I realized that there's some gold, or the gold bands, and yet I'm painting the barrel this kind of yellowish color, so that's gonna cause a problem. So I don't know. We'll think about what we're gonna do about that and think ahead. I'm trying to paint along the grain too, and in the hopes of just catching any of those details. Let's get some of our beverage. So the two things that I'm most excited for from the Marvel Universe, I know I've been talking about Fantastic Four a lot, but I'm also excited for Blade. I'm pretty excited about Blade. And also Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Well, oh no, it's actually just called Captain America. The next Captain America movie I'm excited about. The thing about Captain America, and it occurred to me as I was watching Thor: Love and Thunder, was I'll be pretty excited to watch the new Cap movie, just because this is a hero that doesn't really have any superpowers, right? He's basically just a man that can fly, right? And he's really good at throwing a shield. But I feel like we've kind of been missing that for a while, is like a more human type hero without much, in the Marvel universe that is, without much powers and stuff. And so that'll be kind of fun to see. And then let's see, Blade. I just like Blade. Even though I haven't seen all the Blade movies, I haven't seen Blade Trinity. I hear it's really bad, so I'm kind of staying away from it. But yeah, very excited that there's a new Blade movie coming out. The actor that they got, Mahershala Ali, he's actually already been in the Marvel Universe already. He was in the Luke Cage series. And he was actually one of the better parts of the Luke Cage series, but he was, he has an untimely death. Spoilers. So that's kind of interesting too, is that we're seeing an actor who previously was already in the Marvel Universe show up again as someone else. Ublade has a good actor. Yeah. I haven't really seen him in much. I feel like I've seen him in more than just Luke Cage, but yeah. The question is, and I feel like I already know the answer. The martial arts. Cuz like Wesley Snipes, historically a kind of like a problem actor, had some problems with him on the set. There's a lot of stories about that. But you cannot take away from him the fact that he's actually a very accomplished and talented martial artist. He's actually quite good, quite convincing as an action hero. You can just see it, right? And I have my doubts about Mahershala Ali, if that's how you pronounce his name. I have my doubts if he can achieve anything close to that. My sense is that he won't. And they'll just do Hollywood stuff. They'll do film trickery to make him look like he can do martial arts. If he's very serious about the role, he'll do like a 1 month course or whatever. You know the drill. He'll do 1 month, 2 months course in martial arts, movie martial arts. But that's one of those things where the story goes that the actor actually approached Kevin Feige for that role. And it was like, oh, you want to be Blade? Okay, I guess we're making a Blade movie now because this really talented actor wants to be Blade. Yeah, I've never seen True Detective. The first season was good, right? I hear a lot of people talk about the first season. So I'm painting these like long downward strokes just to kind of reinforce the idea of wood, to kind of get that feeling of wood across and the texture. Unfortunately, yeah, this model doesn't actually have a lot of wood detail, like the wood grain. It actually doesn't have a lot of it, so you kind of have to make it up yourself. You kind of have to illustrate, in a sense, draw it and paint it yourself. Maybe what we'll do with the bands here, they're supposed to be gold. So maybe we'll kind of paint them in a very cool kind of gold, a cool greenish gold, whereas the wood on the barrel here is more of like a warm kind of yellowish gold, maybe? 90s X-Men is coming back. Yeah, is there a trailer? I've only seen a still image, which is pretty cool, and I think that they have some of the original writers back. It's pretty neat. It's cool. I mean, that's one of those shows that I've watched as a kid because I liked X-Men so much. But I don't know if I actually loved it, in the way that I might love Batman the Animated Series, or even Gargoyles for that matter, or even Exo Squad. You know what I'm saying? Where I felt like the stories in those things were actually really well done, in addition to the animation being really good. Yeah, I don't really know if 90s X-Men has good storytelling. I'm kind of on the fence about that. It's just one of those things that I liked as a kid, but I don't know if it's actually good. But it's still cool. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I realized something. Some of these arms are actually wooden slats. Some of these... Oh, okay. So I gotta paint all of this. Ashwin, I love it. Probably seen episodes multiple times. And I think X-Men did a good job. Not great, but good. The animation was turds. Yeah. Animation, not so great. I definitely felt that. And, you know, like, coming from the comics, right? And being such a big fan of the Jim Lee era X-Men, right? Which clearly they were attempting to evoke with the costumes and everything. And yet they fell very far from hitting that goal, right? Like, they really didn't get all that close to achieving the look of Jim Lee's art in the animation. You know, that even just that gap was enough for me to always appreciate X-Men, but never fully like love it for that. Especially if, again, you know, I was already watching anime, not to the extent that like maybe for sure Bacon was, right? But I was already, you know, familiar with a lot of anime, and so, you know, Saturday morning comes, you're watching X-Men, it's fun and everything, but, you know, in the back of my mind, you know, I was already familiar with Robotech, and I was starting to get into Dragon Ball and stuff, you know, and not like Dragon Ball had amazing animation either, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it kind of felt like something was off. And then I'm sure you're familiar with this, Ashwin, the Japanese version of the intro to X-Men. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And it's just the intro, right? It's not like there's a fully Japanese animated version of that show. Just the intro, but that alone was like so amazing. I was like, oh my god, this is what I want for the whole thing. Alas. It's not meant to be. Okay, so let's continue to kind of create these strokes. And I'm gonna try and make sure I get all the woody parts. Yeah. The weird thing about this mimic is that it's at once a organic creature but also an inorganic creature, and so I kind of have to make a decision on what to color certain parts. Like there's these claws here, and the claws are kind of emerging, but I don't know if that's something I should paint as if it's like a living thing, or if I should paint it as if it's just a yeah, just like a barrel ornate decoration. Howl at the Moon. Yes, that was what the song was called, right? Dude, so good. Okay, let's take a little break here. They would do an X-Men anime eventually, and it was meh? Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. X-Men is one of my favorite shows. I was into those comics at the time and not familiar with the rest of Marvel. And had the game on you were X-obsessed at one point? Yeah. Yeah, I definitely was X-obsessed. X. And then when the Marvel game, when the Capcom games came out, that was like extra X-Men awesomeness. It was like everything was aligning in life. It was like everything was working out in life. I was amazing art in the X-Men comics, X-Men cartoon, X-Men video games by my favorite video game developer. I was like, this is it. I'm loving it. Okay, let's take a look. So yeah, as you can see, I've been kind of like doing these long brushstrokes to get the look of the barrel, right? Like the wooden slats of the barrel. But we're gonna kind of refine that and continually kind of pick out the highlights and get higher and higher highlights for that. X-Men, I think the 90s show captured many of the Claremont aspects of the comics. I know a lot of older folks who were longtime fans of the show, including teachers. They did proper justice to Weapon X, Phoenix, and other X things. And I guess that cartoon really helped kind of spearhead the the movies, right? Like that was the thing that you could show to producers or directors or actors. You could show them that cartoon and tell them like, "Hey, we're making a thing off of this." You know, that's a little more, especially at the time, that was probably a more convincing argument than showing off like a comic, just like giving them a bunch of comics, you know. Comics kind of didn't have the same reputation that they do now, I guess. Now I'm kind of going in with a bit more of a delicate touch, and I'm trying to really draw those lines. Big Time, the movies wouldn't exist without the cartoon, yeah. And I think Avi Arad was involved in the cartoon as well as the first few movies as a producer, executive producer or something. And now he's like getting into video game movies. He's like trying to do the same thing in video game movies. Avi Arad. Man, I feel like the first time I ever heard his name was like Power Rangers. I don't know if he was involved with Power Rangers, but man, I think maybe, I don't know. There's this scene in Bottle Rocket that's like Wes Anderson's first movie, I think, right? His first big movie, Bottle Rocket. And there's this scene where they go meet these, I don't know, they're not Hollywood people, but they're like big players, rich people in some capacity. And they're like doing a lot of drugs. Right? And one guy seems so much like Avi Arad that I'm like, is this some kind of reference to Avi Arad? It's just such a weird thing to think about, especially like, you know, I watched that when I was pretty young, and yet I had some sort of background basis of knowledge of how Avi Arad spoke and how he acted, and these characters and this one guy in particular in this Bottle Rocket movie, I was like, is this fucking supposed to be Avi Arad? Like, is this like some personal experience that Wes Anderson had with like the movie industry? I have no idea. Ash, when he was involved with X-Men and stuff. You know Bottle Rocket. Oh yeah. Of course. I was fairly certain that you were familiar with Bottle Rocket. I haven't seen it in a good long while, but I thought it was interesting enough that I took a note of like this director's career. And again, this is like I was pretty young at this time, and I remember just thinking like, this is an interesting movie. And then Rushmore came out, and that was like, we were starting to see Wes Anderson's kind of like style take shape, more so in Rushmore than in Bottle Rocket. And then I would say Royal Tenenbaums again was like another sort of further cementing of his visual style, I guess. Ba, ba, ba. Let's see. Okay, we're at the 2 hour mark. Well, we're almost at the 2 hour mark. Once we get there, let's take a break. Let's take a break, and then we'll get back. We'll get back to this, and we'll get back to some other stuff. I was thinking maybe I could try and paint this entire model on stream, like all today. I think it would be possible, but it would come at a great cost. And the cost is that I'd probably be rushing this model. I don't like to do that. I'm not very satisfied with my models and stuff when I rush things. So let's not do that. Although that's something I'd like to try for another time, is do a painting speed run. That might be kind of funny. Painting speed run. Something to keep in mind for another time. Not today though. Painting any %. Yeah, I was feeling a little kind of blah today in terms of in terms of being productive. I was sitting from my computer trying to do some stuff, and I could barely sit down for like longer than 10 minutes or something, because I just wanted to get up and do something, or just like, I don't know. So I was kind of up in the air if I was going to stream today, but figure let's just do something. There's always something I can do. And tomorrow, I don't think I'll stream, but you never know. You never know. Actually, when you're putting on some X-Men, the 5th season goes downhill with the animation, so I never saw the final episode. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw the final episode either. I feel like it was just hard to catch on TV at a certain point. That's how you know a TV show is dying. Especially when you're a kid and you're really looking forward to certain shows. And then it just becomes really hard to find them, to catch it on TV. That's exactly what... I speak from experience, because that's exactly what happened to, nearly all of my favorite shows, like Gargoyles. I was like, I love Gargoyles. This is one of my favorite shows. And, reliably, I could catch it on Saturday morning or something, right? But then, at a certain point, they moved it. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm watching it on this day. And then they moved it again, and then they moved it again. And then it was just so hard to catch it, because it kept on moving, and sometimes it just wasn't shown on any particular time. So, and then it just was canceled. And the same thing happened to Reboot and a lot of the mainframe era Transformers shows. They just kept on moving them, and then they were just chased off the air. Ashwin, this is a good episode written by Len Wein. Some old-timers from WW2 think they recognize Wolverine in a graveyard? Oh shit. That does sound like a good one. Animation is the telltale, and then the show moves. Yep. I mean, that was the thing with Gargoyles too, is oh my god, the animation for the first 2 episodes or 4 episodes, which amounted to kind of like a movie, right? The animation, that was amazing. They got that Japanese studio to work on it, and then periodically throughout the rest of the seasons they would have the very same studio work on Gargoyles, but eventually they kind of fell off. and they were too expensive, I think. And sometimes within the very same episode, they would have like amazing animation, and then suddenly awful animation from God knows where. Have you ever seen the hella weird final season of TMNT, known as the Black Sky Period? No. From the original TMNT? No. So, like, was the sky just constantly dark or something? Is that why they call it that? Alright. Let's use these very, like, long strokes just right across the model. And I'm kind of like slowly bringing my brush down. I'm creating this motion, but I'm not like touching the model until it makes contact. I'm just doing this and then slowly bringing the model closer to the strokes. Let's see if I can do something different on this side. Let's get closer. I like painting organic things. I like drawing organic things. This is a very interesting subject matter because it's at once a living creature, and yet also just a barrel. It's kind of interesting thing to paint. Maybe that's why I've been very reluctant to paint some Gundam models lately. It's because, like, you know, they're just like big metal robots, and I don't know. I might struggle to keep interested in painting that. I don't know. I have to make it interesting somehow, or not interesting. I have to make it somehow appealing to me. My own personal interest. Whew. That's when no one was watching. They tried to do a Batman. Really? That's very interesting. I had no idea about that, Ashwin. That's crazy. I'd love to see an example of that. If there's like a YouTube link or like a still frame of that. Paint the Gundams with flesh and bone and sinew. You know, actually, not Gundam, but Neon Genesis Evangelion. That's more of like an Eva sort of thing. And I'm actually not all that familiar with Eva, but I know that a lot of their giant mechs are actually like kind of organic creatures inside, something like that. So yeah, maybe I should try painting one of those. Now that I've kind of thought it out and you've mentioned that, yeah, that could be the strat. That could be the route. Trying not to place the highlights everywhere, not trying to place the grain, this lighter shade of this lighter tone of the wood grain. I'm not trying to place it everywhere. We want to get it on all the raised parts, at least on the upper part of the barrel. But I probably won't do too much on the underside, just a little bit. And again, we're kind of running into the situation where the details on this model are so soft, so shallow, that I find that I'm sort of painting the detail on. I'm painting what should be there as a sculpted detail. I'm kind of like yeah, painting it. Just about time for a break, guys. We're at the 2-hour mark. Let's at the very least continue to place the highlights here. Oh, and I'll mention this again, that I've some of you might have noticed that you will have a bunch of Energon cubes in your wallet. I've refunded anyone who's contributed to the What Mini to Paint Next challenge. We were talking it over the last time, and yeah, I decided to refund everyone and redo it. So now it's at a more achievable goal, maybe, hopefully. And yeah. Okay. Potato. I guess I like potatoes. I never really thought about it, but I ended up going to a potato museum, so I guess I like potatoes. Oh, community challenge 25% complete. We're actually close to the previous goal, or rather the previous max. So the last time, before I canceled it and started this new one, we were at 35% funded, right? And that was after more than a month. And now we're at 25% with the new goal. So I guess we're on track. I didn't realize. Thank you, Eshwin, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Vanilla too, who contributed earlier. But yeah, I didn't realize that there was like a limit that you could donate every day, and that's my mistake. I didn't realize. Had I known, had I realized that, I probably would have made it more affordable, or achievable, I guess is a better way of saying it. Also, I noticed that on Twitch they tell you kind of like a projection of how long it would take to achieve it relative to the price that you set, and I didn't notice that either. So again, my mistake. Okay. Let's take a look at our barrel thus far. At Barrel Coon. Oh, he's looking pretty cute, I think. Looking very barrel-y. Yeah. So that's all the wood. The wood is mostly done, I think. And then we'll move on to the gold, and then the teeth, and then he's pretty much done other than the base, right? So that's kind of nice. And yeah, I will go back and paint his... Wait, what was I saying? I will go back and fix some things on that model, but for now, let's go back to this guy. There's the teeth. Getting out all the teeth. Very small. I've been watching a lot of videos making dioramas and stuff, because, you know, making this base here is kind of like making a diorama, right? And there's a YouTuber out there, Night Shift, and he makes amazing like World War II based dioramas. And like the models themselves, he paints a lot of tanks and stuff. They look amazing just because he really goes to town with the weathering to create rust and all of that stuff, and what rust and weathering and bullet holes, and yeah, that is absolutely right up my alley. I find that super interesting. But then he adds like the scene that goes around it, and it really just takes the model to the next level, right? Like he will go in and just create all the details of a war-torn scene, whether it be the walls crumbling or like a murky river or mud and stuff. And I don't know, I guess maybe it sounds a little weird and boring, but yeah, that's the stuff that I'm like, yeah, mud and dirt, awesome. It's really fascinating to me, and yeah, I'd like to try and do some of that. I don't know if I'd like to do a World War II scene or tanks or anything, although it does seem kind of fun. Like it seems like just to try one time as an exercise to attempt to do that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'd really get into it, but maybe applying some of those techniques to like a Gundam or some miniatures, like some fantasy miniatures and stuff. Maybe we could do something like that. That might be fun. Now I'm adding a light brown wash to the top of the teeth to be like, you know, like shadows for the teeth, or you know, he just has like really bad denture care. And I realize I gotta get in there. And I'm wondering if I should paint some of this brown wash along the lines of the wood panels. Would that look good? It's too wet to really be noticeable. Maybe for the teeth and the tongue, I'll add some of that clear varnish, that clear stuff that I was using, and that will kind of make it look nice and gross and shiny. That sounds like a good idea. So lately, I've been watching a lot of nature videos ever since seeing that whale. It's sort of reignited my interest in nature, but also dinosaurs and stuff. Even though whales aren't dinosaurs, of course, there's this connective tissue there where, and I've talked about this already, it's kind of like when you're a kid and you've went through the dinosaur phase, if it ever ended for you, because it probably wouldn't end for some people, right? You know, the next thing for me was kind of like whales, because whales are awesome. Some whales can actually be bigger than dinosaurs, right? So, and they're alive today. It's like the closest thing to a magnificent fantasy creature that you'll get in the real world, right? So I've been watching a lot of videos about dinosaurs again, about nature and animals. It's pretty fun. It's a very chill thing to do as well. If you're ever kind of looking for something to do or something to watch and distract you, and you can't think of anything, I recommend learning about animals. That's a good hobby. Watch some animal videos. Dinosaur Planet has not ended for me. Dinosaur Phase, yeah, it hasn't ended for me. I watched Dominion yesterday, and as much as it sucked, I enjoyed it for the dinosaurs and Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, Goldblum was good. It wasn't a great movie, but I mean, it was entertaining in its own way. I don't, man, I'll just say it right now. I don't understand the whole bug shit though. What the hell was all of that bug stuff, man? Totally, no one asks for that. No one asked for that, and it was like so beside the point. I'm like, we're not here for scary bugs. That movie is over there. That's like some other movie. I'm here for the dinosaurs, please. Can you direct me to the dinosaurs? Dinosaurs. I always loved how Jeff Goldblum said dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. I loved all the old cast and how they interacted. That was cool too. I didn't really need spoilers, everyone. Please cover your eyes if you don't want to be spoiled on Jurassic World Dominion, but I didn't really need Ellie Sadler to get with Grant. I was like, whatever. That seemed like a fanboy thing. But yeah, it was fine. All of that was fine. All of the interactions. I still think that Vince Vaughn should have been in that movie, though. I still think Vince Vaughn and whatever her name is, that other one, the other actor, still think they should have been in there. If this was indeed supposed to be like the end game of the dinosaur movies. I'd be happy if the franchise just kind of is on ice for a good little while, though. I think, I don't know. I mean, what more can they do? What more can they honestly do with dinosaurs? And that was the guy that was going to direct the third Star Wars movie. Okay. Yeah, the wood is looking pretty nice now. Focus, damn you. Yeah, looking pretty good. And the teeth, I think the teeth look pretty nice too. It's watchable when it settles back into being a straight up JP movie right after the first hour. Merge the universe of The Fly and Jurassic Park and create Brundle Raptor out of Jeff Goldblum. Jurassic Park Disfigurement. Cronenberg? Yeah, Cronenberg, dude. That's a director that I haven't actually seen many of his movies, but I feel like I should, just because he's kind of like in that wheelhouse of interesting horror movies, thoughtful kind of stuff. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but yeah, I should watch more of his movies. I hear that his son is making movies too, and they're quite good as well. Like that he's managed to kind of like, I don't know if I want to say he's found his own voice, but yeah. There's two stupid plots, the genetic clone girl and the other is bugs. I think the clone girl I'm kind of fine with. It's the, like, I'm more fine with the clone girl in this movie than how she was used in the previous one. And the bugs is just, oh lord. But yeah, the best line is when he looks at Chris Pratt and he says, "You made a pact with a dinosaur?" Oh my god, they keep on holding out their hand like this. They keep on doing this thing. You know, the Chris Pratt, like, hold out your hand thing. They keep doing that throughout the movie, including the old cast, like Grant and stuff. It's so stupid. I feel like I've seen The Fly, yeah. I think I've seen... That is what the hand, Chris. It's his power. This is power. But then they all do it too, so they all have the power as well. Okay, let's get the metal part done. Actually, shoot, we got to do the eyes, and the eyes are so small. The eyes are so freakishly small, so I don't know how I'm going to do them. But let's do the eyes now, while I remember. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was a great movie. It's probably the same, around the same quality as the last one. And here's the other thing. They said, like if you were to watch the trailers, it seemed to me that the promise was like dinosaurs all over the world now, guys. It's not just in a park anymore. They're all over the world. No one is safe. And we need to adjust to this new world of Jurassic World Dominion, right? And then what do they do with this movie? It's just another adventure in a closed, contained space where shit goes wrong, and then the dinosaurs go AWOL. You know, it's just the same shit all over again. And yet there are parts of the movie where they do attempt to deliver on that promise. There's parts of it where they do have this kind of world global catastrophe kind of feeling, like where we're seeing different parts of the globe and how they're dealing with dinosaurs. There's parts of it, but then we get back to the same closed off space again, blah blah blah. Except now the dinosaurs have feathers, guys. Aren't you happy now? The dinosaurs have feathers and there's bugs. Like, some of my favorite scenes in that movie was like close to the start, where you just see, the dinosaurs just kind of like, and people kind of living with them and living around them. I mean, I understand you can't make a movie around that but I don't know. I wish there was more of that. But generally speaking, I feel like the Jurassic franchise, including the park and world movies, I think we're at a point now where it's like looking back, there really only was one good movie. Like there was just that one movie which was excellent, and every other movie has been just either entertaining or okay, or sometimes just kind of dumb and bad. And it's like, man, even the Alien franchise has a better record, right? Even the Alien franchise, which is often regarded as like, there's so many bad Alien movies now, even that has a better record than frickin' Jurassic Park. I think the last one was worse, and they always scale it down to a park or a complex and a mansion. Yeah. All three movies are watery, hollow trash, but like I said, I love dinosaurs, yeah. But there's Apple has a program on their service where it's kind of like a documentary about dinosaurs. I forget what it's called, Dino Planet or something? Dinosaur Planet, and I hear that's actually really, really good. And I've actually watched a couple of scenes on it just on YouTube, and it's so well done, and the CG is actually like as good as Jurassic Park. Or maybe just because I'm watching it on YouTube, the compression makes it look better, but it's quite nice. Ashwin, also, what the fuck is with Gigantosaurus what about Spinosaurus? I wish they would acknowledge their changing science on who is the biggest terrestrial carnivore. Okay, well, I don't know. That stuff doesn't really bother me too much. Just because I feel like they've always played it fast and loose with the science and what's the biggest and what's the best, you know? And again, I don't know. Eshwin thought the bugs would be an ecosystem. Like Earth's ecosystem is somehow changing because... Yeah, see, that would have been a better rationalization instead of the whole corporate aspect, like genetically modified bugs thing. Yeah. Because it had the book, it was based on a fascinating and novel and scientifically interesting premise. All the other movies are just shitty screenplay sequels. Even Lost World, which while had a book, was a book that was written symbiotically with the movie. Yeah, Dino Planet. Yeah. It looks really good from the scenes that I've taken a look at. All right, what are we gonna do with these eyes? They have to kind of pop somehow. I don't want to do pink, reddish eyes. Maybe we can do kind of like green eyes. Maybe that'll be a thing. Let's see. How do we do this? Let's take some of this old Citadel color green glaze. LED lights. That's not really gonna fit with this model. I wouldn't really be able to do that. Maybe if this was like 5 times the size. That is something, however, that I have experimented with in the past. LEDs and lights. I've lit up my my instant noodle case vending machine. I put up a lighting system in that. It's pretty neat. This is a green glaze. We're gonna kind of just glaze the whites of these eyes with green. I would like to buy more of these glaze paints. They're old and out of production, but I wonder if another manufacturer has created a similar product, because they're quite good. So these are actually the eyes. I really don't know how I'm going to be able to draw the pupils of the eye. Seems like it's gonna be a little tricky, but I don't know. Let's see. Oh, you've seen that one there, Eshwin? The vending machine? Yeah. Thanks. I think it looks pretty nice. Oh, I have this P3 green ink. Let's try some green ink. See what that does. Ooh, I've never tried this. Oh, green ink. Do you think we'll be able to paint this model in its entirety all today? Let's see. Let us see. I mean, it's not a big deal if I can't. Yeah, we're just kind of bringing it down so it's not just pure white now. Okay, that looks pretty good. What's my beverage situation? Ah, shit, I ran out of coffee. Let's get some of this water. I'm going to be doing a couple of small projects like this for the next little while. Stuff that's just about this size. I'm going to be doing stuff like this before I have another big project lined up, you know. Before I work on something approximately with this level of intensity. Is that the right word? We'll just you know, we'll chill. All right, so I was thinking with the gold bands, to paint them non-metallic metal. And let's do it. I was just about to say I don't want to do that anymore, but let's do it. What the hell, right? So I am not the best at this. I'm still practicing. This is a very good model to practice non-metallic metal on. But I think a good idea is to kind of block out your light with black and white paint first. So, for example, any place where there's a bend, and again, this is supposed to be metal, right? Any place where there's a bend, you're gonna want to have the most light kind of coming around that curve. So that's what I'm doing now. And then there's another one here, and you can kind of use the light that you have already to kind of help inform you where to place those. And now for the model itself, ooh. Okay, I gotta paint black now. I gotta paint some black all over the parts that I overpainted. Let's put some black, and then I gotta do it all over again. Yeah, because I overpainted these parts. So we'll just kind of cover that up with some black. We don't have to do a super amazing job. Oh, shit. I was just saying we don't have to do a super amazing job, and then I overpainted some black onto the wood. It's not good, which I rhymed. There we go. Just leave that area alone for now. Yeah, so I have a lot of reference pictures, seeing how other people have done non-metallic metal for their miniatures. I mean, you can collect all the reference in the world, but at the end of the day, I still need to kind of practice it myself. This is a very small model where I'm not super invested in how the end result is going to be, so I feel like it's okay to kind of experiment and test out some skills on it. It's fine, it's fine. If it ends up looking kind of blah, which it probably will, but that's okay. Oh, just talking about dinosaurs. I saw on PlayStation's YouTube channel that they were showing this new, well, I think it's on PC, but they were showing that they're getting this dinosaur game on PlayStation 5 where you just play as a dinosaur. And you can pick your dinosaur, or there's like a couple that you can choose from, and it's like a sim game. You just kind of wander around and do dinosaur things. And I'm like, shit, sign me up. I'm gonna check out some more reviews of that. What? Here, let me look up the name of that game so you can look it up too. I want to check out some reviews. I think it's a game that's presently in beta, and like I said, it's a PC game. It's also a PC game. So I want to do my research. I think at the end of the day, it's probably just going to be an okay game. Not like the most perfect, amazing dinosaur game, but it still sounds interesting. It's a demo, or not a demo, it's a beta. Something like that, so. Path of Titans. It's called Path of Titans. So check that out. Do your research. And it's coming to PlayStation soon, or maybe it's already out there now. It's definitely already on PC. Look that up. Might be right up your alley. Might be right up my alley too. Double alley. Also, while I'm talking about dinosaurs and watching dinosaur stuff on YouTube, there is an amazing dinosaur sculptor. You may have already seen this person, Eshwin, if you've been looking at dinosaur stuff on YouTube, as I have. His name is Kayakasaurus. So imagine kayak and asaurus, Kayakasaurus. And this guy sculpts his own dinosaur models using a variety of clays and epoxies and stuff like that. And he's been doing it for years now, and he kind of upped his game in terms of video production recently, so his videos are a lot more engaging to watch. But he's just such an excellent sculptor of dinosaurs, so check him out too. Kayakasaurus. Amazing stuff. He actually also has a video. This is very encouraging for someone like me. He has this video where he talks about, not talks, well, yeah, he does talk about it, but yeah, he shows like his sculpts, like his earliest sculpts of dinosaur models, where they look kind of amateurish and kind of not amazing. And then he shows his latest ones, and they're professional grade. Like, he could be hired by like a toy company or even like a museum or something, because he's that good now. So look that guy up, Kayakasaurus, really cool. Okay. Ba, ba, ba. Did you ever go to the grad show of the year below us? I did. There was a tech guy who made an amazing sculpture of a T-Rex. I do not remember that, but that is freaking awesome. I don't remember that, but yeah, I did go to it. You think I'd remember something like that, but shit. I regret that I have not retained any memories of such things. And I know that you've watched some oh my gosh, my paint palette is getting too crowded. Hold on a second. Look at my paint palette. I should probably get a new paint palette, but yeah, it's kind of getting too crowded here, guys. Yeah, I take it that you've been watching some paleontologizing, Eshwin, because I think you mentioned it before. Very cool. He's actually on like a tour all around the States, maybe even Canada, I don't know, probably just the States, looking at dinosaur samples and museums and going to actual dig sites. Very, very cool. Very fun to watch. Makes me want to go to a museum. Oh, frag, dude. Ah. Got some white paint where it doesn't belong. That's how you know I'm losing focus. Shoot. Okay. Yeah, his content's amazing. Yeah, it really is. Really great stuff. Unfortunately, though, because he's traveling around and he's going to dig sites, his internet reception, his internet is not holding up, and so yeah, there's been several times where the signal just drops, and we get no paleontologizing, or it just looks like we're looking at like a garbled mess, a pixelated garbled mess, and that sucks. It must be very frustrating for him too, just because he's been planning this for a very long time, and he got like this crazy signal booster thing, like a backpack that he attaches to his phone, and there's this huge antenna sticking out of his back. You got all this gear, but at the end of the day, you know, some of it doesn't really, it can't help. There's only so much you can do. And yeah, that kind of sucks. The only reason I actually even saw this streamer, this guy, was he was actually streaming in the makers category at one point. He was streaming in the maker category because he was assembling a 3D printed dinosaur skull. Like, he has a 3D printer, and he was like putting it all together himself and gluing it and all this shit, and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. Who is this guy? But it's so cool. He's going to museums and stuff, and yeah, it really made me want to go to a museum. So we might do that actually at some point while we're in the summer season. Oh, looks like we gotta change the music. Let's get some Vidya game music. Been meaning to hit the ROM for a while now. Want to see some dinos? Yeah, do it, man. Do it. Actually, yeah. So when we had our trip to Atlantic Canada, we did visit a couple of museums. And again, that even just any kind of museum sort of reignited my interest in going to museums. Period. Very cool. I don't know. I guess that's something that I don't know. As a kid, you don't really think about. It's just a trip that you might go on for school. But when you're an adult, I don't know. It doesn't really occur to me. It didn't really occur to me that I could or should go to a museum. But yeah, I kind of want to go to more. Natural museum. And I was saying this previously because I like whales so much, and I was so happy to finally see whales. But the only other time that I had encountered a whale was a dead one, its skeleton in a museum. And even then, that really was such a moment filled with wonder and awe, because it's like, holy crap, this thing is huge. Yeah. It's Carmi! I end up taking an hour nap? That's beautiful. You know what? I am pro nap. So you will hear no criticism from me. I am all about them naps. So hi again. Hello. Did you have a good dream? Do you dream? Do you remember your dreams? I don't really remember my dreams. Naps are so good. Vanilla, I'm proud of you. Is Spain the land of naps? Is it really? I would like to visit the land of naps. The official headquarters of professional nappers. Carmi had a small headache, so I went to lay down. You did have a dream? Ooh. You know what? So, sometimes, I don't know what to classify this in terms of dreams. Sometimes they're not really nightmares. I don't really have nightmares exactly, but I have these dreams of incredibly awkward and incredibly uncomfortable situations. This happens to me quite often. This is the first time I'm publicly talking about it, guys. I'm really opening up my heart out to you guys right now. But I have these dreams, and again, they're not scary, they're not nightmares in that sense. They're just so super awkward. Like remembering something that happened in like my real life or whatever. And they're so unbearably awkward that I awake from them. I awake from the awkwardness because I can't stand to be in that situation, even though it was simply a dream. I cannot stand to be in this frickin' awkward situation anymore. so that's how I wake up. And usually what happens, this is the thing. Usually what happens is when I wake up, I realize that I just need to go to the bathroom, or I need to or I'm just like really hot, like I've got too many blankets on. So what happened then was my body was basically putting me into this unbearably awkward situation just to wake me up. Because I needed to do something like take a whiz, or whatever, you know, like, or I was just too hot underneath all these blankets or something. That's me, man. That's my deep dark secret that I'm telling you guys about right now. Ashwin, lol. Vanilla, stores are closed from 14 to 1700, and I'm pretty sure it's because of nap time. Siestas? So dark. My darkest origin story. There you go, guys. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's take stock. Let's take a look at what I've done. What have you done? Okay. Siesta time is sacred. Sacred. I like that. The most holy of times. Do not ever take away siesta time. Do not infringe upon such a time. Oh crap. Ran out of white paint. Okay, good enough. Okay, let's take a look, guys. Let's take a look. So the metal banding that goes around this thing, my plan is to paint it to look reflective in metal rather than simply using gold paint. And it's kind of dumb of me because I've recently spent a fair amount of money on actual metallic paint, and yet this time around I'm attempting to paint the reflectivity of the barrel rather than use metallic paint. I'm practicing. This is not something that I'm super experienced with, but as you can see, the metal bands, as they kind of wrap and contour around, I've sort of hinted at and suggested the proper light or values, I guess you could say, as they curve around the barrel, right? I think that kind of makes sense. And now what I'm going to do is what am I going to do? I'm going to add a yellow glaze. I'm going to just glaze all of this stuff. Properly painterly approach. That's right. Yeah, see, Ashwin knows. Doing a painterly style to it. Vanilla, do not even call us at this time. We are sleeping. Vanilla, barrel's looking so rad, I want it. Yeah, thank you. What is this song? Where's it from? Oh, it's Deltarune. It's from Deltarune. It's a remix. I don't love it too much. It's a little too corny sounding. This remix, that is. So let's skip it. This is the Deltarune battle music. I like this a bit more. Ba-ba. Okay, so I think instead of starting with a glaze of gold, let's start it with a glaze of brown. A glaze of brown, and maybe that'll make sense. I don't know. By the way, reading Eshwin, reading Berserk from beginning, never got farther than volume 6 or 7. It's amazing. Yep, Berserk is pretty amazing. I love it. Berserk is pretty much, I said before, it kind of belongs in the same conversation as Lord of the Rings. I still stick by that statement. It's a remarkable. Oh shoot! I should have mixed this. Ah, crap. This is my very old mixing medium. I need to mix this around. I need to shake this baby up. This is mixing medium. I should buy some more. It's running out. Vanilla, you know which game has a good, fantastic soundtrack? Gran Turismo 1. Agree. Super hard agree. In fact, in the PlayStation 1 era, it kind of introduced me to a lot of bands and music in general that basically prior to the PlayStation, I didn't really have any kind of taste in music. But between games like Gran Turismo 1, and I still remember some of the soundtracks. I'm pretty sure they had Garbage on there, like the band Garbage. And Wipeout and Tony Hawk. All of those games introduced me to music that I kind of still like today. GT2 is even better. Yeah, what's on GT Gran Turismo 2? I can't really remember what's on number 2. I really remember 1. Or actually, yeah, 2 would have been on PlayStation 1 as well, so it's likely I've heard it, I just can't really remember. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if it's safe to play those soundtracks on Twitch, you know what I'm saying? Which is really dumb, but it's just how it works. I'd love to. Okay, we've got this brown glaze now. Let's try and push this glaze paint around. Pushing the glaze into the deepest, darkest parts of the model, but we're leaving the white as it is. And the white, we're going to add some brown, yellow to, and then after that, we'll probably add some green? I don't know. We're getting into the bonus rounds, guys. This is we're at 310, but let's just keep going. We might as well just keep going, right? Ashwin, we need a new Burnout Paradise. Yeah, Burnout Paradise had amazing music as well. Really, really good music. Yeah, thanks to PlayStation, I was able to have a conversation with people that actually know about music and not sound like a total nerd. I was like, yes, Garbage or NoFX, yes. These are bands that I've heard of because and then in small caps in my brain, because I've played video games. Okay, so we've added the brown, but now we gotta add the yellow. Let's flip this palette because it's just far too much paint on it. And let's work on the other side. Let's get our yellow colors. This is the Baylor brown that I've been working with for the base of the model. Bad Moon yellow or sulfuric yellow? Let's see this one. Ooh. This Bad Moon yellow is super bright. I don't know if we want to use that. Let's just use this one. Gotta shake it up though, it seems like it's separated. So we've added the brown. It's actually very hard to notice just because of the black. I haven't really given any thought as to how I should paint the base of this model. I don't know. Because, I mean, it's a barrel, right? So it should be in a bar, like a pub. So maybe just like a basic kind of brick color. It's supposed to be something that tricks adventurers. Could be in a cellar. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. Alright, so here's another glaze. Making like a glaze of yellow. And we're just gonna kind of... Gonna have to deliberately push this around. And I possibly have made it far too light, but I'd rather it be light than too strong. Let's kind of go, and we can kind of come back with the with the white to bring it back up to the white level. So one thing I can immediately tell is that it looks too pale right now, and I want it to kind of look more warm, so we'll have to think about what we want to do for that. Bring it up to a warmer kind of yellow. I thought that the brown might help with that, but it doesn't seem like it. I'm gonna just paint the base like really blah, like really basic for now, just so that we can, we can kind of wrap things up in a decent amount of time. Oop, too much. Just dab with our finger. This whole aspect of like using like a black and white underpainting, that is also like a very kind of like old school painterly technique. And I've seen a lot of people paint whole armies and miniatures using this method, and they can do it very quickly. It's kind of cool. So for the rest of the week, if it all kind of goes according to plan, which, who knows if it will, but for the rest of the week, I am likely going to stream on either Friday or at some point on the weekend. That's about as good as it gets as far as like a plan for me goes. But we'll do something around that time. Probably gonna play a Vidya game. The cat game that I got. But, yeah. Been talking about schedules and stuff, and while I don't have a concrete schedule in mind, I do want to keep the weekends open for video game time. That seems to be nice. I don't know. That seems to be nice. All right, let's take stock of our gold now. We've been adding a little gold, but I think it needs it's a very pale gold. I think we need to go in with kind of like a richer kind of gold, maybe this, to kind of transition from the black parts to the pale parts. Maybe. I don't know. Also, I feel like there should be some red. But let's stick with this. When there's a lot of curving parts, I find it hard to understand how the light would bend around it when you're doing this kind of technique. But I think that's all part of practice and looking at reference. I have a lot of reference photos of metal armor and crap like that. Maybe what we need to do is go back with a dark, with something kind of dark, and bring that all back to the depths. The depths? The darkest parts? And also the highlights. We can kind of tighten up the highlights and stuff like that. Tighten up the graphics. Oh shoot. This is the spout of the keg. It probably should be gold too. Let's get that. I see a lot of people that paint miniatures and stuff, and they have very, very smooth blending and transitions. That's not me. It's either a lack of skill or just no interest in doing it that way. Maybe it's because of my painting background, like my schooling, that it just I like to have the brushstrokes. I like to see the brushstrokes. It's kind of that is like, especially in terms of like competition, when it comes to like painting competitions for miniatures, that is not something very desirable to have in your miniatures, is to see all the brushstrokes. They want to see smooth blending. They want to see that because it shows a skill. It shows a certain kind of skill, which is to say blending. And yet, yeah, I don't know. I don't like to do that, or at least, it doesn't. It's something that I need more practice in. I can say that much. But at the same time, I like kind of just doing things the way I do right now. I don't know. I don't want to make it sound like I'm what's the word? Like stubborn. Like I don't want to learn how to do new techniques. It's more just I like how they look the way I'm doing it. Vanilla, I like this rough style. I'm like that too. Yeah. Just kind of want to. I want to see the results quickly. Like, that's one thing, I guess. And I guess also, like I was saying, like from art school, a lot of my instructors loved that shit. They loved like seeing the brushstrokes. They loved seeing how rough everything was. They loved that. So I don't know, maybe that kind of like infected my brain a bit. Okay, so we've kind of darkened it. We've kind of added a bit of that yellow all around, and we can get darker. We can add a bit of dark, and I think I want to add a touch of red too. That might be good. Ooh, I may have made it too wet. Made my paint too wet. This will be also a glaze. It's a very reddish glaze, reddish brown glaze, and we're gonna kind of focus this on the darkest parts. And maybe I should use a different brush. Yes. Yes. Let's use this brush. My good long boy. Yeah, we're gonna put this in the darkest areas, and it's a very thin. This is very thin, and I'm kind of painting in like a sweeping motion along the contours of the model. And it kind of brings it to like a rosier gold, I guess. It makes it look richer rather than pale. I think there's ways you can kind of smooth it out. Even at this point, you could kind of smooth things out by adding several layers of glazes. But meh, I don't feel like doing that. Yeah, ooh, I'm kind of liking it now. Ooh. Ooh, hello. Just kind of dab away. I think I'd like to tighten up at least the highlights, the very like final kind of highlight parts. If I tighten that up, it'll kind of make it look like I've been very clean and tight with everything else. That's what I'll do. That's my plan here, guys. And it's almost like we're tinting the surface of the model. We're not really laying on a very thick layer of paint, and it's super noticeable. We're kind of just adding very light, watery layers of paint to kind of tint the surface, and we just continue to do that. We let the previous surface dry, and then we do another round of tinting, and so it goes until you get to a point where you're good, and then you want to stop, and then I'll eat. Yeah, see, like at this point we could do with some highlights. The eyes here, all of these eyes have like this round thing, and it's like the light was gonna contour along each of these little bulbous round things. So that needs a lot more attention if you want to do it like nicely, which again, feeling a little lazy. This was a good exercise for me, though. It was a good exercise to kind of work on this kind of skill of painting gold rather than using gold paint. I like both, though. I don't really want to put a value or I don't want to rank one method of doing this over another. I think that I like both, and both can look really, really nice. Okay. Ooh, okay, we're getting somewhere, guys. It's starting to look like something. Making things look like something is always a good goal. Now, I'm just gonna... I got some paint on the tongue. Now I'm trying to tighten it up. This is something that I'll probably try and do another time as well. Try and work on this skill and try and do it in a single session. I think that's it's good practice too, just in terms of like trying to do things quickly. The model that I had been working on previously, the Frost Giant, I worked on over a very long period of time, and you know, you kind of want to... I think that's a good thing too, is trying to work on stuff and take all the time you need, but also I want to get to a point where I can work quickly and efficiently and get good results in a more timely fashion. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere, guys. Oh, not bad. Let's get that final layer of highlight out. Gonna mix these two together, yellow and white. Before we work on the gold a bit more, let's add some of this this clear Tamiya clear stuff to the mouth and teeth so it can look all wet. I think that will look pretty cool. And then, yeah, we're getting close to wrapping things up, everyone. Very close, very close. Not quite yet. Not gonna say my goodbyes just yet. Yeah, so this stuff applies glossy and wet, and it stays that way. Well, it doesn't stay wet, but it retains that kind of like wet look, which is perfect for the things like teeth and gums and mouth to kind of look really gross and stuff. I get a personal thrill out of this process. I don't know if I'll paint the tentacles. I think we'll just leave the tentacles. And also the eyes. I forgot that I need to paint like the pupils of the eyes. I'll do that. I will not do that right now. I'm going to do that later. It's not going to look very... the eyes, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a good job on like individually picking out each pupil. But I'll try and do that. I'll do that off stream because it kind of takes a lot of concentration to focus in on that. Okay, let's clean this up. So one thing I'd like to buy in the near future is a sonic cleaner. It's something that is used for jewelry and also like cleaning computer parts, but also in the hobby world it's used to strip the paint off of models. I have a number of models that I found at a Value Village a while ago that I'd like to strip the paint off of. This one here is pretty cool, and And yeah, paint them with a new lick of paint. But I have so many that it would be very annoying to do that by hand, to strip paint them by hand. So that's why I'd like to get a sonic cleaner to do it. Let's take a quick look, guys. So there's the tongue, and as I move it around, you can see that it's kind of like there's like light. It has that glossy sheen to it. Looks like a real mouth. It's like a mouth now. And there's the gold, which looks okay. I think that's the last thing I'll do for today, guys. We'll just try and pick out the gold a little more, just a little more. Get some white.
Mission complete.
Mission complete. We're very close. So yeah, we pretty much painted this whole model all today, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever done that before, paint an entire model in a single sitting. Let's add a bit more white to this. There we go. I think that's what we want. I'll show you guys on the palette. Right here. This is kind of like what I want for the highlight of the white. I don't know if I want to use pure white. And let's get a brush. Let's get a new brush. Yeah, I bought a new set of brushes, but I haven't really used it too much. Let's try this one here. And when I'm done, we'll say our goodbyes. We'll part ways. I will eat. I will have a sandwich, I think, and then I'll watch more Stranger Things. Okay, this is my new brush. Haven't really used it too much. Tamiya modeling brush. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a whirl. Comes to a nice fine point, which is good. And we're looking to really pick out those details. Pick out those, the light and how it bends. And yeah, I'm liking this brush so far. It's not bad. Get the little fingertips. Night Trap, great paint job. Cool, thanks, Night Trap. I know that you have some D&D miniatures yourself. They're fun. They're fun to paint. You know, they're not. I would say they're not as good as the Citadel miniatures. I think that was like pretty evident from the start that they wouldn't be as good, but for what they are, they're pretty nice. So yeah, I think you'll have some fun when you get around to painting them. And I'll probably get a few more whenever I'm in a place where I can buy some or order some online. I'll probably get some more just because they're a good price and you can kind of mess around with them. Now you'll spend 3 weeks on the Night Trap. Imagine that. You know what? Because you said it, I might just do it just to spite you. Have a huge... Make a base that's like inappropriately sized, like significantly larger than it needs to be. Water effects. Let's put some LEDs. Eshwin was saying earlier I should add some LEDs. Put some LEDs in the base. Let's put a motor. Maybe like a little sound box that's like welcome to the D&D world. That base was like, it's the most time I've ever spent on a base for sure though. And Bacon was asking like, did I spend more time on the base than I did the miniature? And I'm pretty sure that I spent more time on the miniature, but it's close. It's probably pretty close. Interestingly enough, I can actually see, so this model is not a 3D print. However, the original, I'm sure that the original casting, or the original from which the casting was made, was 3D printed, because I actually can see some of like the layers. And I've noticed that with some model kits as well, including my my Good Smile Company Moderoid. I could see that kind of stepped pattern in the model itself, despite the fact that it's not a 3D print. It just started life out as one. Night Trap, yeah, I was surprised at the quality of D&D models for WizKids, more than the Lord of the Rings Fellowship diorama or the Sisters of Battle. Yeah, those are... Night Trap's referring to some older models that I have worked on before. Those are all models that I've won competitions for. I don't know if... actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure I spent more time on this model than any of those, just because this model here, or not this model, as in the Mimic, but the model of the Frost Giant, I was under no time constraints. There was no deadline to meet. Whereas with the ones that you've mentioned, the Lord of the Rings and the Sisters of Battle model, those were models that I was doing for a competition, so I had to get them done in a timely fashion. That wasn't really a concern with this. So yeah, I definitely just took all the time that I needed to get it done and to make it look good. And I'm kind of like keeping the option open. If there's any kind of painting competition that we discover, if there's something happening in Ontario, I might just enter it just for the hell of it. I mean, I spent all this time on it. I might as well enter in a competition. What the hell? I guess now's a good time to mention as well that on my YouTube channel, which I'm sure Nightbot has spammed, not to be confused with Night Trap, but Nightbot. On my YouTube channel, I have a number of videos relating to the creations of my miniatures, including the Frost Giant. They're basically just like excerpts from my working on them on stream. But yeah, they actually are kind of popular, well, relatively speaking to my YouTube channel, which doesn't get many views. But anyways, yeah, there's a number of videos out there going over my process for the Frost Giant model and probably throw up this. So yeah, for anyone that's watching or lurking, interested in the models that I paint, you can definitely check out my YouTube and see more stuff that I paint. And also there's the Instagram account, which again, you can reach through all the regular means. And yeah, I've got my miniatures there, my Instagram account. You know, I've been reading lately a lot of pushback regarding Instagram. There's a number of people that aren't very happy with the way Instagram is being managed and stuff. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm not that invested in Instagram that I really care, but it is interesting to see the direction that they're taking it and how there's like a pushback regarding how it's being handled. They're kind of getting more into videos, Instagram, trying to compete with whatever that other site is, TikTok. And it's like there's a lot of people out there that just want Instagram to be about photos. This is actually a pretty nice brush. I like this brush. Now that I've been working with it for a little bit, it's pretty nice. Ooh, and the gold is looking pretty goldy, guys. Oh, Night Trap is trying to helpfully add the commands and show the commands, but it's all going wrong. No, that doesn't look good. I kind of made like a dot. Don't want a dot. I want like a stripey motion. This is looking pretty good, guys. Not gonna lie. Kind of happy with it now. My strategy of just making sure that the final highlight layer is really tight is working, because it makes everything else look like I put a lot of work into it. Okay. And you know, it's still not super like on point, like amazingly crisp detail work, but I'll take it. Where'd you get the brush, Night Trap? Yeah, so I got this brush at Hobby Center, but I feel like other places would carry it too, like Trinity, because it is a pack. It was this one here. It came in a pack. Tamiya modeling brush basic set. You get 3 brushes. You get like this chubby boy, you get like a medium boy, and then you get a skinny boy like this. Alright, guys. I think we're gonna call it. There's a few other things that I could do, like maybe do some lining in between the slats of the barrel, but considering that I did this all in a single session, I'm actually pretty happy with it. It is a small miniature, so it's not, it's not that big of a deal, but pretty happy with this barrel boy. I love painting monsters and D&D monsters. D&D heroes and characters, they're kind of fun too, but I'm so charmed with all the unique D&D monsters that I'll probably buy another D&D monster again. So yeah, that's gold. It's painted on gold. It's not something that like a metallic color that I've used. I'm pretty happy with it. So now we've got two D&D monster boys. Beholder-chan, Beholder Senpai, and Mimic-kun. Vanilla looks amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then we got our big lad here, Borborgimos, Ice Giant. So we're creating a collection of D&D monsters. I've actually got one more. Where is he? Oh yeah. This is the other Mimic right here. This is the more traditional treasure chest Mimic. You know. And we'll paint this another time. Sometime in the future. Maybe we can vote on it. Maybe you guys can vote for that according to the challenge. But that will be for another time. For now, we have completed the barrel Mimic. And yeah, pretty happy with it. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. That's it for today. I actually wasn't planning on streaming too long today. It just kind of worked out that way. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Vanilla, Night Trap, Eshwin, Carmi. You guys know the deal. Thank you so much for hanging out, everyone. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll catch you next time. GG.